So hey guys, it's Lindsay. This is my good friend Greg.
Hello, everybody.
And we have known each other through theater, which is amazing. I started in 2009. I think you did as well.
Yes.
That's when we met, and we have been best friends ever since. We are two completely different people, and then there are some ways that we have these small things that are exactly alike, and that's what pieces us together as really true friends. Like, he's my best friend. He knows it. He knows it. I wanted to be able to do a theater vlog. We've been a part of theater. We just really wanted to be able to kind of talk about experiences and maybe eventually like some reviews and stuff. The theater that I do shows at is doing a musical called The Little Mermaid, and we had an audition workshop tonight. So I wanted to go, and I didn't want to go alone even though there were people there that I knew, so I asked Greg if he would go, and he did for support. Sang and I read, and it went good. And then we came back here and we started talking about the vlogging and what we could do with it and stuff. And then we were like, all right, let's just do something basic and start with some like basic questions for both of us. So that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna be as honest and truthful as we can be, and I hope you enjoy or find it interesting. When did you realize that you had to be a part of local theater?
I think it started back at Greenup County High School when I started out as a freshman. I went to one of the theater department shows. It was their version of all the popular fairy tales, Three Pigs, and the last one they did was Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Of course, the popular cheerleader at the time was the lead, Goldilocks. So yeah. And so it was pretty much, they were just improvising and just having a blast. And I was like, wow, these people are having such a great time. I want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
And the final thing that nailed it for me was when the curtains closed and the Three Bears come out, and the lead bear has Goldilocks over his shoulders, and he goes back behind the curtain, and this is what I hear: "Let's put her in the barbecue."
That's scary.
So fast forward from high school, I started theater at a community college.
We started at the same place. But he was actually going to college there, and I was not. I was just community.
Yeah.
So we have 300,000 people in this area. We're in a tri-state area. There are a lot of people, and theater is huge here, and the talent is ridiculous. So yes, I am from a small town in Kentucky, but this stuff is gold, okay?
What made you fall in love with local theater?
The talent. I saw Sweeney Todd in 2008. My sister was in it. She was young. She was probably like 13 going on 14, and she wanted to really play the role of Toby. She was obsessed with that show, and I love Stephen Sondheim, but I had never even thought, like, I knew she got the role. She got to play Tobias, and I went there and watched it, and she had me in tears at the end. It was so good. I had no freaking idea that the community theaters in this area are as talented as they are. And the ones that I've been a part of have been as professional as they can be. And I've only done it with just two companies, really, so far. I would not have fallen in love with it had I not realized that it wasn't good in the area, because I'm a perfectionist. I like to make things as good as it can be. I like to micromanage when I can. And I want everybody to do their best and be as professional as they can be. So that's huge for me. So to see all these people that are just community college students and everyday people come in and have that much heart and show that much passion, I can't even describe what that's like on stage. Talk about adrenaline. Mm-hmm. It is intense. Why did you fall in love with theater?
Well,
what made you fall in love, rather?
I think the final straw that got me fall completely in love with theater was when I went to see the community college, their production of Blood Brothers, which I regret not auditioning for.
I was the lead in that one.
Yeah, and great job, by the way.
Thank you. On my main YouTube channel, you can see other playlists. They're not necessarily uploaded by me, but they're uploaded from one of my old accounts, and I just added them to the playlist. So I've got several things from theater there if you guys want to check it out.
Sure thing.
So Blood Brothers was the one that did it for you. So for me it was Sweeney Todd, and for you it was Blood Brothers.
Yeah.
I was the lead in that one. I met him at the end of it, and then him and I, our first show together, because right after it ended we started Christmas Carol, and that was a whole nother ball game. Like, whoa, Blood Brothers was an absolutely fantastic show. I mean, it was incredible, and I was so fortunate and so happy to play that lead. I just put my whole heart in it, and that's just who I am on stage. What was your first show and role?
My first show was at that same community college, Christmas Carol in 2009. I played not one, but 5 different roles. I was first man, first businessman, townsperson, Dick Wilkins, and unofficially I was one of the ghouls at Scrooge's gravestone.
So, for me, my first show was, and I'm going to say community, 'cause, I mean, I did a show in high school. I did Snoopy the Musical, and I auditioned for it the day I found out for it. I really wanted to be a part of it because I've watched the cartoon since I was a little girl, and I knew every word to all the songs. She wanted to cast me as Snoopy, who was the lead character, and I was 18 at the time, and I did not want to be a girl in high school dressed up on stage like in a dog suit. So now I regret that. I kind of wish, I'm like, why would you do that? You were offered that. Why didn't you take it? But I didn't. I wasn't as confident in myself. So my first real show then, like community show, was A Little Not Music. Love me some Stephen Sondheim. He's a freaking genius. It was a great show, and I'm proud to have been a part of it. I played Petra, and the very first opening night, I totally screwed up on the first and second verse. I kind of meshed them both together, but nobody noticed, so I kept going. I did what I was supposed to do.
Okay, what was your most recent show?
Beauty and the Beast. Did it last year. We did it together, actually. That's also his last show as well. And we both had kind of like company roles. He had a bigger role than I did. I mostly danced. I was a plate. I was a like village person. I was one of the barmaids. I got to be in all the company songs, and that's really, really what I had hoped for. I wanted to be Mrs. Potts, but I settled for that one because I was like, I have to do this Disney show. I'll regret it if I don't do this show.
Yeah.
So what was your role then?
My most recent role was in Beauty and the Beast. I was playing the role of Gaston's henchman.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of fun.
That is a fun, that whole thing is fun. Anything that had to do with Gaston was a blast.
Yeah.
So the next question is, what is your favorite show? Like Broadway show, like just show. Not necessarily one you've been in. It can be anything, just whatever your favorite is.
That's a very hard question. I think my favorite
There's
show...
a lot to choose from.
Yeah, it's not a musical, but it's a straight play called Red, written by John Logan. The reason I love that show was because it had great writing, great monologues, and just great character development. But that's about it. What's your favorite show? I wonder.
Like you said, that's hard because I have a few. Blood Brothers is very close to my heart. It's written by Willie Russell. It's a great script. It's a tragic ending, and I love that type of stuff. I love tragic ending shows. It's just, I don't know, they're more fun. If I had to pick, I would go with one would be Next to Normal.
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely, I love that show. I love what it's about. I love the music. It's relatable. It's just an incredible show. It truly is. I can't say enough about that show. I love it so much. And the music is like to die for. It's just incredible.
What was your least favorite show?
So, for me, least favorite, I know a lot of people are going to hate this because it's a really popular show, but for me, I would say Rent. It is just not for me. I'm not into the music. I'm not into the story. They should all just go get jobs, and it'll be alright. Just so that's for me. What about your least favorite?
I think my least favorite show, I never got a chance to see this from beginning to end, but so far from all I've seen in like sneak preview clips and everything, like Spider-Man, Turn Off the Dark. Spider-Man, Turn Off the Musical.
Okay, see, I never saw the musical, but it was supposed to have done well, but I have no desire to see that. And I actually like superhero movies and stuff, but I did not care at all to see Superman the musical. Spider-Man the musical.
Yeah. The music wasn't even that great.
Say this together. Out of the shows that we've done, on the count of 3, what is your least favorite show? So, alright, we're going to look at the camera. This is our least favorite show that we've been a part of, and I have a feeling it's going to be the same one. Okay. Alright, you ready? 1, 2, 3. Nosferatu.
Well, actually, there's not much of a difference. They're both the same show. Nosferatu and Wuthering Heights.
I broke my hand. I was supposed to have been the sister, and I broke my hand good, too. So it's the only show I've ever had to quit, and it was for an injury. Nosferatu the vampire.
Ugh.
I really thought you were going to say that, but then every time I ask you, I remember. No, he hated Wuthering Heights, I think, even more. But no, that show, I can't even.
Oh my god, they're both terrible.
Well, and not only that, but like people's attitudes during that show.
Oh god, that ruined it even
worse. It was just like people were arguing, Nosferatu arguing backstage, people taking over other people's jobs, people taking stuff way too seriously, people taking people's phones. It was crazy. It was too much. That's what happened during Chicago too.
Yeah.
That's another story. My favorite that I've been a part of has been, oh my god, I don't know how I'm going to decide between these.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved Blood Brothers, I loved The Wizard of Oz playing Glinda, and I loved Cabaret. I was a named dancer, but that show, that and Blood Brothers, I don't even know how to separate the two into, they're completely different shows, so it's so hard to compare them and make a real comparison between the two. So, but if I had to pick one, oh my god. I mean, I was the lead in Blood Brothers. Yeah. I guess that maybe there's a part of me that says that, but Cabaret, I love that show. And it was so fun to be a part of. I had a blast. Yeah, I had a blast. And that's the way Blood Brothers was too. I had a blast. Favorite role, and then least favorite role. Favorite role, what is it?
I think my favorite role was Barry Klimper for The Boys Next Door. Because it was a very challenging role. It was something different. It was a combination of funny and dramatic. Because my character, he has schizophrenia, but in the story he was starting to stabilize to where he's able to, go out into society. But then his father comes in, and his father attacks him, and his world shatters. He completely has a mental breakdown. And that moment of emotion was something I never got a chance to do before.
Yeah, when you had it, like, for Blood Brothers at the end for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I cried and sang that song. I don't know how. My dad was always like, how are you crying and singing? And I'm like, practice. I just did it every night at practice. I would rehearse it, and I'm just one of those actors that can basically cry like that. I would have to say that my least favorite role was the vampire and company role for Nosferatu. I mean, I've done a company role before. I was Fritzy in Cabaret. I've done Beauty and the Beast, and that was fine. But for me, Nosferatu, it had some really good songs in it, and some of it was really weird. I liked it better than Wuthering Heights. I can't think of another one where I was just like, I hate this, I want to go home. And that's usually not how I feel at theater. I am like, I want to stay and talk and hang out and don't want to leave. Okay, what about least favorite role?
Oh, goody. That's pretty much any role in my role in Nosferatu and Wuthering Heights, because it just wasn't fun. It
wasn't as fun.
Yeah, and that if I had to choose, that would be it.
How do you put vampires on stage without vampire teeth? I was a vampire in that show. I didn't even have teeth. I think they thought we couldn't sing with teeth. I'm like, if you would have let us just, practice with them we would have been golden.
Yeah,
and a lot of people asked about that. They were like, why doesn't Nosferatu have fangs? And I'm like, not my problem.
Yeah.
Here's the big question, though. If you could be any character, what is your dream role?
Oh, boy. I think my dream role would be Mark Rothko for Red, because that character I would love to play. But in musicals, I would love to play the Phantom in Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, you've always told me that.
Yeah.
You've always said that would be a dream role. I think that's a lot of people's probably dream role, especially if they're tenor or baritone even, maybe. I don't know. For me, probably Diana from Next to Normal. I mean, we're getting ready to do Little Mermaid, and the closest thing I could think to it would be Ursula. But I would put Diana at the top. It's just a role that I really, really hope that I get to play one day, and I hope it's a really good show I get to be a part of. Like, if it ever comes to the Paramount, I'm going. Period. Don't care.
What is the most embarrassing or funny moment backstage?
Oh my god. Well, on stage or backstage, right?
Yeah.
On or backstage. Okay. Oh my god, the funniest moment or most embarrassing? I know that forgetting your words in a song during a solo, which I kind of mentioned that happened, that's embarrassing. It's only when I forget stuff. I only get ashamed, like if I forget a line. That was probably it. It was probably Blood Brothers. Me and Tommy were acting together. He was playing one of my sons, and I had to like lean over and like he was like crying, you know, and like talk to him, and I just froze.
Yeah.
Like it just went, and I just sat there like for just a few seconds, of course a few seconds too long, and then he, thank God, realized that I was stumped, and which usually does not happen to me. He knew I was stumped, and he came in and saved me, thank Jesus. So so that for me was embarrassing, because I don't, like I said, I'm a perfectionist. I don't like messing up. I like to be at the top of my game always. So that for me was, but that was years and years ago. That was in 2009. So to not have had an embarrassing moment since then, I will take it. I will take it. What about you?
I think this is a combination of both embarrassing and funny. It was during Wuthering Heights. The music director and the conductor were in the pit in front of the stage. And of course the music director was like, okay, you know, Greg always remembers his lines. He always remembers his
Oh my God,
lyrics.
I know what you're going to say. Okay, keep going.
Yeah. And and the reason it's so funny, because, you know, the moment I hit a couple lyrics, like just 2 sentences full of lyrics, my brain just
happens, man.
Yeah, and what makes it so funny is the reaction of the two. That just makes it so comical, because they were like, and they looked at each other, looked up at the stage, looked at each other again, looked up at the stage, and the music director was like, he actually forgot his lines.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, when you forget lines, and like I said, one for me was a song, the very first one, and then Blood Brothers was the one line that I had. If I screw it up once, I have to learn from it, and I usually do not make that mistake ever again. I don't think it's ever happened to me once where I've made a mistake twice doing the same thing. So it's like, you know, if anything, you gotta learn from it, and that happens, you gotta do it. You gotta sometimes take up for the one that's next to you that you're acting with. Maybe they're the one that's stumped. Well, it's your turn. If they're just like, and you need to come in, save their asses. They will appreciate it so much, I promise.
What was your greatest moment on stage?
I think the moments that I was, oh God, okay. I feel like I've had a lot of great moments on stage. I feel like being able to get up there in my young 30s, you know, young to mid 30s, and do cabaret and be one of the main dancers was an honor and a complete blast. The end of Blood Brothers, singing Tell Me It's Not True, that's just a huge one. I'm crying every night at rehearsal so that I can cry while I'm singing it. There were real tears there, and that show meant everything to me. And Glinda, I actually got to do fly lines for the first time. I was in a giant bubble. I wasn't even strapped to anything. I wasn't connected to anything in case I fell. Nothing. And I was way up there. And I was in this like giant like bubble type thing. And so it's definitely my favorite prop that I've been able to use. That bubble was massive. And I was sitting on a seat about half the size of an envelope and not strapped to anything, in a giant dress with 2 crinolines on. And the crown, and the wand, and then I had to hang on. There were 2 things you could hang on to, but I learned to hang on to one. That way I could, you know, move my thing. Cabaret, I'm proud of everything that I did in that show, and I'm proud of everybody that was in that show. It was incredible. He got to see it, thank Jesus. I don't even know how to pick between them. Those 3 right there.
I know how you feel. It's just like it's hard to decide, because there's so many great moments. But if I had to decide on what my greatest onstage moment would be, it would probably be when I was in The Boys Next Door. Because my co-star, who played as the caretaker of all these characters, including
Did he save you like I got saved?
No, no. It was just like, you know, he just worked with me. You know, when there's, you know, 2 actors, they work so well off of each other. He worked so well off of me, and I worked so well off of him, and it was just a nice little balance.
Like
the scene, my character was just like completely, you know,
like psyched out.
Yeah,
like,
just
totally
like he's closed off. He's not reacting to it. It's like semi-comatose. Just remember hearing audience members just crying. Just, you know, you can hear sniffling because they
Tell
were.
Me It's Not True was the same way. Every single the people that I could see, every one of them were wiping their eyes.
Yeah, and it was such a great moment because
those are great moments.
It's just like because you got the audience right where you want them.
Tears will come.
Yeah, and just like, and that just shows, you know, you've done a great job because you make them believe that you're that character.
Yeah.
And he's suffering, and they feel for him, and that to me is my greatest moment.
It's always good to have a moment like that where you've got the whole audience just completely captivated. There's really nothing like that feeling. It's just like, also when I came in as Glinda and they flew me in, everybody, you could hear the and the ooh. I mean, it was very, very obvious. And there's the little girls in the audience, and they've got their little wands, and they're waving them as
That's so cute.
And they were waving them at me, and it was just like, oh my god, it's so. So that was very memorable too. That's why Glinda and Tell Me It's Not True are probably my most memorable moments. But I think the most fun was Cabaret. Cabaret was probably the most fun. It was something that was hard for me, and I went up there and I did it, and I looked good with all them other girls. I'm in my 30s. All them girls are a good 10 years younger than me. I went out there and I killed it. I'm just saying. So I got one last question.
Okay.
Why do you still participate in the arts?
I think the best way to explain that is it gave me purpose. It gave me a reason.
There you go. Amen.
It gave me a reason to live.
Purpose.
And so,
I agree completely. My answer is probably exactly the same. I'm not even kidding. Why do I participate? And I'm passionate.
Can't really settle on just one reason. And another reason would be...
It's hard.
It's just to inspire people. I love the fact that you are able to inspire people, like the point where they have that same moment like I did, when I was just like, wow, I want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
I want to do stuff like this.
Yeah. The inspiration to be able to know that you're inspiring others is huge. Because that's how it started for us.
Yeah.
We saw a community show and went, holy crap, the talent is good enough for me to go, I can take this seriously. And I need, not only that, but for me it was, I have to be a part of this. I need to be a part of it. It was a complete and utter full-on need. And for me to keep participating, like I said, for me, I agree with you completely. It gave me a purpose. I feel like there was, for a while in my life, like in my mid-20s, where I didn't really have a purpose. I could not figure out, like, what am I supposed to be doing? What's going on? But I just think that as long as the passion that people have for shows and community theater goes on in this tri-state area, I will probably want to continue to be on and off a part of it. I've only been a part of like 2... Officially, I've only actually done shows for only 2 companies, and they're probably the best 2 in the area. So, or at least were at the time when I was there. And and for me, the passion. I'm so passionate about it. Like you've heard me say, I don't ever want to mess up. I want to micromanage. I want it to be perfect. That's massive. That's a huge part of it. So. And once you see it and you go, wow, it's really hard to not want to participate. I don't know how people don't want to. Anyway, we're going to try to start doing a bit of theater vlog, whether it's once a week or every other week, or eventually if it's over a camera because we're not able to be together. We will figure it out. But we wanted to just put together a video to talk about our past experiences with theater. It's really cool because there's still a ton of questions that we can ask each other or, ask other people. We'd love to know about your experiences with theater. I love theater people. I love people that were theater people. So feel free to contact me, and definitely please subscribe. I would appreciate it so much, and leave this video a thumbs up, and you will probably be hearing from Greg and I soon. So see you later.
Later, guys.
Bye.
Peace.